Wait, what? Hold on. Okay, there we go. It's fixed. Hello, hi. Thank you for the head pat. Hi, Soda, Soda. Hello. Wait, I need to fix some of these. Okay. Hi. Hold on, I'm fixing everything. Things are not working. Listen, if there's no scuff, is it really a stream? No. Haha. Hi, thank you for the follow back in. Welcome in. Hi, Bonk. Hello. Let me perceive everyone. Hi, all spirits. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. One of those three. Hi. Hello. Hi, Templari. Hi. Hi, Rich. Thank you for the 2 months. I really appreciate it. Yay, yay. I'm so sleepy today. We had a really long day yesterday, and I'm so ready to cuddle up with this book. I'm so excited. Hi, Ito. Hello, hello. Hello, Vasily. Hi. Hello, hello. Hi, Divine. Hello, Soda. Hello. Hi. I have the the perfect voice for bedtime stories. If I can speak English, maybe. Today is... We don't know yet. We don't know until we start reading if I can actually speak or not. Also, hi, John. I think I said hi. I don't remember. Hi. Hi, No Soy, by the way. Hi, YouTube friends. Hi, Twitch friends. Today we're going to be continuing Malora Forged by Fate by Koby. This is a really, really wholesome story so far about Malora, who is a hybrid. Yeah, it's a reading stream. It is, yes. We're going to be reading chapter 3 today of Malora Forged by Fate. So I'm going to give a little summary for anybody that wasn't here for the prologue in chapter 1 and chapter 2. Oh, thank you for the follow, Bunk. I'm glad you're enjoying your time. So essentially we're following Malora, who's on the cover of the book, depicted right over there in the corner. That's Malora. She's a hybrid. That's kind of what we know. So her father and mother are like different races, and that is a little bit different in the world and where they were living, which I believe is Gorham, I think, or they're going to Gorham. I can't remember. Wait, that's important. That is an important detail. I have to go back. They're going to the big city. We'll find the names. I forget. I'm really bad with names. But they're leaving their small hometown where it's like really rare for there to be hybrids. And they're going on an adventure to the big city, the big place, with this very amazing academy called Vograth Academy. And Malora has just been accepted into this academy, and so her and her family are moving to this big city to allow Malora to have more opportunities that she wouldn't have in her little hometown. So we've been following them on their journey. It was advised that it would take like over a week to get there. We met a lovely little dwarf and a group of merchants on the way, named Ruik, and he gave Malora a book about the king, the very first king of the city that they're going to. And so she's been reading that as they're going. Oh yeah, she also took a mysterious sleeping potion, I think called Elvish Dreamless Sleep. I don't remember. But she took a potion and it was really delicious and it helped her sleep. And then she ended up being able to stay in an inn, which was really exciting for her because she got her own room. Her parents were able to sell some products and things while they were meeting with the merchants. And so she was able to get her own room, her own good night's sleep, and a bath. We love baths. Hi, DK. Hi, Transam. Welcome in. Hi, Java. Hi, Twisted. Hello, hello. Hi, Lucid. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. So basically, that's where we left off. Is Malora got to stay in a inn room all by herself, and she had some privacy. And so now we're gonna continue with chapter 3 so we can figure out how this family that is potion master and forge master, and Malora, who wants to do a little bit of both, just like her mother and father, and how they're gonna like travel. Oh, and she does have a little baby brother named Deegan too. I'm gonna have to like write these summaries, I think, going forward, because I keep skipping around. I'm so sorry. I'll have a better summary next time, I promise. But I'm gonna grab a water. Okay. So we're gonna continue with chapter 3, where we find out what happens next. Chapter 3 is titled The Great Walls. So they must be getting close, right? If we're getting to the Great Walls. Hi, Keating. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hew, hew. Okay. Malora watched the fog cling to the tree line from her window. Oh, thank you for the follow, Tonin. I appreciate it. I was losing tracking. Okay, let me start over. I'm sorry. Malora watched the fog cling to the tree line from her window. The morning mist slowly receded into the shadows as the sun's piercing light filtered through the leaves. Clean clothes felt good against her bathed skin, and sleeping in a bed for the first time since Humlock led to a peaceful slumber. Ah, that was the name, Humlock. Of her little city was Humlock, and she's going to Garum. Okay, back to it. Though it wasn't as nice as the elvish lullaby, she mused, which was the potion that she took that I was telling you guys about, the elvish lullaby. The world was wrapped in quiet stillness. Even the birds refused to break the silence. Then a knock sounded at the door. Rising from her seat, Malora opened it to find her family on the other side. It was time to leave. They descended the stairs, enjoying a hearty breakfast in the inn's dining room, and returned to their cart. The wheels rolled along the bumpy road, the air still hazy with morning fog. Only 4 more days stood between them and Garum. At the start of the journey, Malora hadn't paid much attention to the changing landscapes, but after a good night's rest and being closer than ever to their destination, Malora couldn't help but enjoy the natural beauty that surrounded her. Goodness, breathing is hard. Hi, Oofy. Hi. They had crossed rolling plains, cut through overgrown forests, passed over rivers, and beside mountains. Now, as she sat beside her father, Malora gazed out at an endless expanse of wheat fields. The golden rows of barley swayed rhythmically in the wind, their soft rustling almost hypnotic. It looked like it never ends. Hi, Rose. It looks like it never ends, she mused, barely above a whisper. That's how you know we're close, her father grinned. These fields stretch forever, circling the entire city of Garum. Malora fell silent. How many people live there to need this much food? I'm glad I took up blacksmithing, Ferrith chuckled. Can you imagine if we were farmers, harvesting this wheat, transporting it all? Well, I'm sure it pays well, Eris chimed in from the back of the cart. I would like to think so. There's no more honest work than this. Malora looked away from the golden expanse to her father. I think blacksmithing is honest, too. A grin appeared behind his mustache. I agree. She turned her attention ahead, noting distant figures. More travelers, she assumed. As they closed the gap between them, their shapes grew larger and their details sharpened. A small group passed them by, paying a simple nod to Ferrith as they did. Malora watched them closely, her eyes focusing on their features, or lack thereof. More Neanderthals, she said quietly. What was that? Ferrith raised a brow. Most of the travelers we've come across have been Neanderthals. He stifled a laugh. That shouldn't be too surprising. They are the most common race in Lagorium. I know, I've never seen so many before. You'll be seeing a lot of them in Garome. They make up the most of the You'll be seeing a lot of them in Garome. They make up most of the population, by far. After 3 more days of steady travel, the terrain rose and the difference in altitude became noticeable. They left the sea of golden wheat and entered another forest. The trees towered above them. Their dark leaves loomed overhead, creating a canopy of shadow. Pine cones littered the ground, crunching loudly as the cart rolled over them. As they continued uphill, winding through the dense forest, the wagon rattled and bumped. Thick roots grew across the path, creating the roughest terrain they had seen. Finally, they reached the summit of the hill, and the cart rolled to a stop. "Wow," Eris muttered. In the back, Malora looked up from her book, halfway through her second read. "Why did we stop?" "Come see for yourself," her father replied. With a furrowed brow, Malora shuffled to the front and pulled the curtain separating her from her parents. The afternoon sun poured light directly into her eyes. She held her hand up like a shield to see what was hidden behind the warm glow. Her breath caught in her throat, and she saw it. Down, deep in the valley below, walls. They were small from her distance, but the trees that surrounded them hinted at their true size, like a field of broccoli beside a stone barrier. Oh my gosh! I am so glad I'm not the only one that thinks that broccolis look like tiny trees. Like whenever you're up high in the sky and you look down, the trees, they do look like little broccolis. Yeah. I feel like that's such a good analogy. So the trees look like little broccolis, which means they're still pretty far. Because these walls must be big. Because they must be big trees. She squinted, trying to see past the grand stature. But the haze of the atmosphere hid the details from view. Her stomach fluttered at the sight. "Garum," she whispered. "Yep," Ferrith grinned. "No matter how many times you see it, the view doesn't get old." "Look, Tegan, it's our new home." Eris faced her baby toward the distant structure. Shifting her gaze to her left, Malora noticed another wondrous sight. An endless expanse of blue, as if the sky swallowed the ground beneath it and continued as far as the eye could see. "Is that the ocean?" "Sure is," Ferrith replied. "You didn't tell us that Garum was near the ocean." Eris gave her husband a curious look. "I didn't?" He shrugged, still smiling. "Well, now you know." Malora didn't take her eyes off the view, her heart racing at the sight of not just one distant dream, but 2. "So, what do you think of all this?" So, what do you all think?" Ferrith glanced at his family. "Should we stay here and enjoy the scenery, or should we get these wheels turning?" He didn't wait for an answer. With the reins in his hands, he gave them a flick, and they began their descent into the city. As they descended the hill, Malora watched the walls with a focused eye. With every passing moment, the distance between her and the city shrank. What felt like butterflies seemed to nestle in her stomach. What felt like butterflies wow. Sorry. What felt like butterflies rebooting. What felt like butterflies seemed to nestle in her stomach, continuously fluttering more and more as the wall grew. At the base of the hill, the road converged with other paths, widening into a large street. The dirt beneath them was flat from the constant travel, creating the smoothest ride of the entire journey. Yeah, we have to reboot sometimes. More travelers joined them on the road, and Malora gazed out to the sea of people, noting their differences. Adventurers clad in armor, merchants leading packs of animals, nobles riding in carriages, and peasants with their meager belongings. All were headed to Gorum. The afternoon sun turned to evening, and the sky shifted from blue to red as it slowly met the horizon. Ferrith watched the sun for a moment before exhaling sharply. I don't think we're going to make it. What do you mean? Eris asked. Ferrith set his eyes on a traveler who walked beside their cart. Excuse me, do you know the time? The traveler shook his head. I don't, but I can say for certain that we're both, that we... Okay, I'm gonna drink water. I feel like... Okay, back to the traveler. The traveler shook his head. I don't, but I can say for certain we both already missed it. Ferrith gave a simple nod. Thank you. What did we miss? Eris narrowed her gaze. The gates to Gorum, Ferrith sighed. They open 3 times a day, morning, noon, and evening. They're only open for an hour, and it seems we've missed our window. You're joking. Ferrith shook his head. So we have to spend another night in the cart? Malora groaned. That's what it looks like. Malora looked up at the walls. The towering structure loomed over her, bigger than ever before. Her chest tightened. It's so close. Eventually, the dense forest cleared away. Eventually, the dense forest fell away, revealing a wide clearing in front of the city gates. In front of the city's vast gates. Okay. In front of the city's vast gates. Okay. Brrrah. Eventually, the dense forest fell away, revealing a wide clearing in front of the city's vast gates. The sun was beginning to dip past the trees, casting soft rays of light over the scene. Fires were being lit, their warm glow flickering in the glowing dusk. The ground was level and buzzing with life. Merchants hurriedly set up temporary stalls. Adventurers haggled over goods, and families, much like Malora's, prepared to rest after a long day on the road. The air was filled with laughter, banter, quiet conversations, and the scent of savory food. The city's liveliness extended past the walls, creating a welcoming community just outside its glorious gates. Ferrith steered the nightmares toward the edge of the clearing, carefully maneuvering the wagon into a quiet spot. When the cart finally stopped, everyone disembarked with relieved sighs. Fires crackled, mugs clicked, and voices carried gently on the cool night breeze. Malora scanned the camp, watching some pitch tents while others spread blankets on the ground to sleep under the stars. She shifted her amber gaze to the great walls that stood before her. Ferrith approached from behind, laying a gentle hand on her shoulder. Well, Malora, he exhaled softly and turned to look at his daughter. A smile lay hidden beneath his mustache. We finally made it. Yeah, Malora leaned into her father, carefully laying her head against him not to poke him with her horns. Feels like only yesterday when I saw these walls for the first time. What did you think when you first saw it? Ferrith paused, his eyes lingering on the stone structure. I couldn't wait to show it to you. He lowered his gaze, meeting his daughter's eyes. And now I'm here, sharing this moment with the people I love most. Malora's lips quivered, only for a second. She wrapped her arms around her father and buried her face in his chest. Ferrith grinned. Wait. Yes, Ferrith grinned warmly. I love you, Malora. I love you, too, Malora replied, her words muffled. He placed his hands on her shoulders and pulled away. I'm going to tend to the nightmares, all right? Malora nodded, wiping the water from her eyes. Okay. She gently, oh my jeez. Malora nodded, wiping water from her eyes. Okay. With a gentle kiss on her forehead, Ferrith left. Alone, Malora locked her gaze on the wall. She studied its highest point. Banners fluttered in the wind, though it was too dark to make out the details. Quickly glancing at her parents, who were busy with the wagon, Malora took a deep breath and walked toward the wall. She skirted along the edge of the clearing, avoiding the people to her right and the dense forest to her left. Approaching the wall, Malora stopped within arm's reach. She tilted her head back, trying to see where the stone became sky. But the structure blended into the night, appearing endless despite the stars. The sight made her stomach churn. She faced forward, her heart racing as the stone flickered against the firelight. She reached out to touch it, but froze, her fingers only a hair's width away. What if it's not real, she thought, her breath becoming heavier. What if my fingers pass through and I wake up? What if this is just a dream? What if... She closed her eyes, and with all her strength she pushed forward and pressed her hand firmly against the wall. It was cold, rough, solid. Her stomach unraveled, and her muscles relaxed. A weak smile flickered across her face as she pressed her forehead into the stone. It's real. She opened her eyes and waited to catch her breath before returning. When she did, her mother was the first to greet her. Where have you been? I was looking for you. Eris approached her from the wagon. I was just taking a closer look at the wall. Eris smiled knowingly, making sure you weren't dreaming. Malora's porcelain cheeks flushed pink as she looked away. Eris pulled her daughter into a soft embrace, her peach-toned skin contrasting with Malora's. It's real. You're not dreaming, she brushed a lock of her hair behind her daughter's ear. Hi, Soup. Hello. Oh my gosh, can you imagine going through traveling all this time? Something that you're so excited about. She gets to see the ocean. She gets to finally go to Gorham. She's attending her dream school, and her family is going with her. All of these things, she's worried that it's too good to be true because, to her it is. She's there's no way all these good things are happening to me. And so even though she's felt the struggle of the endless travel that she's had to go through to get there, and then she finally sees it, she's still worried that she could be dreaming because there's no way that it could be real. And I'm just I just want to give Malora a big hug. We should all give her a big hug. Okay. Let's see, where were we? It's real. You're not dreaming. She brushed a lock of hair behind her daughter's ear. We're all here, together. I know, Malora's lips stretched into a faint smile. I already figured that out. Eris stifled a chuckle and planted a kiss on Malora's head, exactly where her father had. Pulling back, Eris looked at her daughter with a raised brow. Hungry? Malora nodded. Good. I left your father with Deegan so we can find some food. Eris gestured to the other side of the clearing, where small food stalls were gathered. That explains the smell, Malora muttered. You're telling me you didn't notice? Malora shook her head. I just assumed someone was cooking over a campfire. Eris laughed at the comment and nudged her head toward the stalls. Come on. Taking Malora's hand in her own, Eris led her through the throngs of tired villagers. Of tired travelers. Excuse me. Eris led her through the throng of tired travelers. Malora watched those she passed by. Their attention on... Wait. What? Malora watched those she passed by, their attention on each other, their meals, or the stars above. Not a single person glanced back at her. They don't even notice me. Eris looked back at her daughter. I didn't expect a whole community right outside the gates. It makes sense. With so many travelers staying here every night, it must be good business. Her mother gave her a playful nudge with her elbow. Thinking of opening a food stall yourself? Malora's face warmed, her head shaking. I wouldn't know what to make. I remember you making a tasty chicken pot pie. I burned it. Well, for your first time, I thought it was pretty good. I'm not sure if you gave it another try. Wait, oh my jeez. Well, for your first try, I thought it was pretty good. I'm sure if you gave it another try, it would come out great. Oh, Eris pointed to a stall. What about that one? Malora followed her mother's finger to find a stall where two red-scaled Darkin worked, one of them skewering large chunks of meats. One of them skewered large chunk of meat. Oh my goodness. One of them skewered large chunks of meat, and with his fiery breath, charred them to a delicious color. The flame's heat tickled her skin even from this distance. I think meat might be a little too heavy right now. Malora pressed her lips together. Maybe something lighter? Okay, well, is there anything that catches your eye? Malora's eyes wandered from stall to stall, noting the diversity of races and cooking methods on display. Each hearty dish seemed to appeal more to hungry adventurers than to her. With a curious glint, she noticed a stall tucked at the far end without a line. What about that one? Malora pointed. Let's take a look. They approached the stall, where a lone man stood behind the counter, with a white towel draped over his shoulder. His light blonde hair was tied into a neat bun, making his pointed ears jut out prominently from the side of his head. Good evening, ladies. Oh my God, see, I'm tripping over everything. I'm with her though. I feel like if I was just sitting in a cart and reading, I probably wouldn't want like anything too heavy after a long day's travel. So I think Malora is like really smart in like wanting to find something a little bit lighter. And I'm curious what this blonde man has to offer in terms of snacks. 'Cause it's time for snacks. All right, let's see. Good evening, ladies. How can I help you? His voice was calm and welcoming. Hello, we're looking for something on the lighter side. Everything else seems a bit heavy, Eris explained with a smile. The elf chuckled softly. You're in luck. I specialize in light meals. He motioned his arm over a large circular stone, the air wriggling over the hot surface. I cook using elvish hot stone. Everything is prepared fresh. That sounds lovely. We'll take one meal to share. That'll be 5 darks. Eris handed a single 5 dark coin to the elf, accepting it Oh, wait. Eris handed a single 5 dark coin, the elf accepting it with a nod. His hands moved with practiced ease as he gathered fresh fresh ingredients, crisp greens, vibrant carrots, mushrooms, and handmade noodles. He chopped the vegetables swiftly, and Malora paid close attention to his knife. The sharp blade was adorned with elvish markings, the metal catching the light as he moved. With the ingredients prepared, he tossed them onto the hot stone with a loud sizzle, steam rising from the surface. Gathering a large bamboo stick, the elf spread the food around the stone, ensuring even cooking throughout. "How long have you been cooking?" Eris asked, watching him work. 65 years. Eris's eyes widened. "I first started when I was 12. A laugh escaped him. "I couldn't even toast bread." He looked at Malora with a grin. "I'm living proof that hard work is all you need to make a living doing what you love." "So you're 77? Eris furrowed her brow. "You look younger than me." "Elvish genes," the elf splashed water over the cooking food, an eruption of steam filling the space. "You should see my grandfather. Over 5 centuries old, and he doesn't look a day past 60. Excuse..." Malora cleared her throat. "Excuse me." The elf turned to her with a gentle smile. "Yes?" "I've heard stories about elves, but you don't seem much like them." The elf widened his eyes, a smile stretching. "Ah." He drizzled an appetizing sauce over the food, sending a savory aroma into their noses. "You would not be the first to think so. I was born here in Lagorum. My grandparents, however, immigrated from the elvish island of Kohaku, sailed across the great..." Wow, I can read. Oh my god. Okay, trying again. "You would not be the first to think so. I was born here in Lagorum. My grandparents, however, immigrated from the elvish islands of Kohaku, sailed across the great ocean to get here." He grabbed a bowl and held it beside the stone, pushing the cooked food into the dish. "If you met my grandfather, I'm certain he would fit the stories better. Me, though," he placed the sizzling bowl down before them, "I'm Ligorian through and through." "Thank you." Eris took the bowl in her hand, "for the food and conversation." The elf bowed as they left. "Enjoy," he added, taking the towel from his shoulder and cleaning his station. As the pair walked back to their wagon, Malora watched her mother struggle to figure out how to eat with the 2 sticks the elf had given her. Managing to grab a small amount, Eris took a bite, her eyes drooping at the taste. "Oh, that's good. Can I try?" Eris nodded, fighting with the food some more before securing a bite for her daughter. Oh my gosh, that's a mood. Chopsticks, there's a big learning curve for chopsticks. They sound like they're using chopsticks, right? 2 wooden sticks. I feel like that's such a mood, struggling to like pick up noodles with chopsticks. I can use them now, but it took me so long to figure it out. So, I mean, I'd say good job on Eris for being able to pick up noodles. Because, oh my gosh, the first time I was like, how do you even do this? I need a tutorial. Malora watched the steam rise from the noodles before eating them. Her mouth exploded with flavor, both sweet and salty, with just the right amount of kick. "This is really good." She blew air, trying to cool down her tongue. "I know, right?" Still wrestling with her utensils, Eris looked toward the darkened stand. Its line short. "Hold on." She passed the bowl to Malora. "Wait here. I'm going to get something for your father." "Okay." "Don't eat it all." "I won't." One meal, please. Did they order like an Elven ramen bowl? It sounds like it. It sounds, I don't think it was, I would say it was noodles with a sweet sauce. It didn't sound like it had any meat, so it just had like vegetables, carrots, mushrooms. Yeah, so I think it was just kind of like a stir fry, maybe like a lo mein type dish, or I don't know. They had like hand pulled noodles though. Like it was a noodle dish. So I'm thinking it must be some sort of Asian cuisine because it was made like on like one of those circular stoves. Yeah, yeah. I wonder what kind of food in the real world like could compare to the taste. Like I wonder what like the thought was when the noodles were made. I know, right? It sounds really tasty. I'm excited. After I finish reading, I'm gonna get a snack. Maybe I'll make some noodles. I think I probably will. I feel like I have to make noodles at this point. Okay. So her mother is going to go get her father some meat because I guess they're sharing a noodle dish and her father is going to eat meat. Nom 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 nom. Her mother hurried toward the scent of roasted meats, leaving Malora alone. The bowl warmed her hands, its aroma making her mouth water. Don't eat it, she told herself, stifling her attention to the crowd of travelers. All of them were absorbed in their own activities, living their own lives. She slowly panned across the clearing, a light smile playing across her lips. Then her smile disappeared. Her stomach dropped and her tail straightened. She froze, goosebumps riddling her skin. A few paces away, a young boy watched Malora with curious eyes. His attention flickered between her horns and her tail. Look somewhere else, anywhere else. Her heart raced. Please. She didn't move, and neither did he. Siggy! A man rushed to the boy, scooping him up in his arms. What did I tell you about running away? The boy pointed towards Malora. That girl, she's... Stop that! It's rude to point at strangers. The man quickly glanced at her before walking away. Malora let out a breath that she didn't know she had been holding. The loud thumping in her chest, the loud thumping in her heart lessened with each exhale. No one's stared at me since Humlock. She shook her head, trying to regain composure. I almost forgot the feeling. Her muscles relaxed, but her hands still trembled beneath the bowl. I'm back, Eris returned with several meat skewers in her hand. Glad to see you didn't finish it. Malora managed a weak smile. It's all here. Good. Let's head back then. As they walked back to the cart, Malora's stomach churned. She focused her gaze on the bowl in her hands, though the food appeared much less appetizing. When they arrived, Eris handed her husband his skewers, and they ate together beneath the stars. Among the flickering light of the fire, they talked and laughed. Malora had stayed silent, but it wasn't long before she was back to her usual self, joining in on her parents' conversations. Oh, poor thing, she got so scared. It was a little boy who was like, oh, she looks different. W on the parents for being like, no, don't stare. It's rude to point. Don't do that. You went to an Asian buffet a while back and you had stir fry area and you made ramen with no broth. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I felt like that's what it was, but it had a sauce. So it's like maybe like a yakisoba or something. But yeah, oh my gosh, stir fried vegetables with noodles. That sounds so good. But you also like stir fried the nudes too. Stir fried the nudes. Hi, Almazan. Hi. Hello, friend. Hello, friend. Hi. Okay, where was I? Okay. When their bowls were... Wait. Oh, howdy. Hope the book is going good. So far, so good. You eat noodles without broth all the time. Me too. I love noodles. I feel like pasta is such a yummy food. Like the bouncy texture of a good pasta noodle is like one of the best things ever. And then like the chewy texture of egg noodles is so good. And then like, I don't know, rice noodles kind of like break apart. And I think those are really good too. All sorts of pasta is delicious. And also I love gnocchi. Yes. Nudes versus rice. Rice is really good too. Listen, I love rice. I love carbs, I guess. I don't know. Pasta noodles, is that spaghetti? I love spaghetti. Wait, spaghetti is good. I love spaghetti. Yes, we love carbs. We should all cheer on carbs. Yay, carbs. When their bowl was empty. Oh my goodness. Paschetti? Paschetti, yes, paschetti. One of your oaths for New Year was to eat everything in your pantry before buying more stuff. So you've been eating rice and canned fish for a month. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. W on you for like sticking to it, but make sure that you're eating balanced foods. Excuse me. Okay, we'll continue. When their bowl was, my God, I still can't read this line. When their bowl was empty and their skewers were clean of meat, Ferrith rose to his feet and patted his belly. Well, I guess it's time we turn in. The faster we go to sleep, the faster tomorrow comes. I do the same thing. If I'm like really excited about the next day, I'm like, I have to hurry up and sleep because if I sleep, then it can be tomorrow sooner. However, I then proceed to lay awake in bed staring at the ceiling, just being excited about tomorrow. And then like 3 hours before tomorrow wake up time is, I then fall asleep. So it doesn't ever work for me. But for people who can fall asleep, W. Go to sleep early. If you're excited about something, tomorrow teleport. Like you teleportation to next day. It's nice. It's good, yes. I'm with you there, Eris said. Eris picked up her son and stood up. They both walked around the back of the wagon, but before they could board, Malora spoke. Father? What is it? Can we sleep out here tonight? You want to sleep on the ground? Eris furrowed her brow. Malora nodded silently. Looking around at the other travelers, Ferrith sighed. All right. Well, if everyone else is doing it, then why not? He turned to his wife. Any objections? None here. Okay then, outside it is. They gathered their blankets from the cart and spread them out on the ground, the grass feeling like a large cushion beneath it. Ferrith groaned loudly as he lowered himself beside his daughter. Eris handed their son before lying down on Melora's other side. You know what? Ferrith shifted his body. I think this is better. I think this is more comfortable than the cart. Eris chuckled. I was thinking the same thing. Malora looked at her brother with twinkling eyes. Can I hold him? Of course. Ferrith carefully placed Deegan... Of course. Ferrith carefully passed Deegan over to Malora. She placed him on her chest, her fingers lightly tracing the skin on his back. They fell into a peaceful silence, with only the crackle of the fires to act as their lullaby. With only the crackle of fires to act as their lullaby. All 3 moons are out, Malora muttered. That's beautiful, Eris agreed. Isn't it beautiful, dear? Ferrith opened his eyes. What was that? Are you asleep already? No, I'm just resting my eyes. What did you say? Malora reached out and pointed at the sky. All 3 moons are out, the silver full moon, the emerald half moon, and the crimson crescent. Malora loaded? What? What the hell? No throw, no Bugatti. Hi, Feb. No, not today, because we're reading a book today. So no Bugatti time. Bugatti next time. No Bugatti today. We have carts and nightmares, which are horses, basically. Night demon horses. What else we have? Yeah, carts. I think just carts and nightmares. We have no Bugatti. We travel by cart, horse, and foot. No, cart, nightmare, and foot. Yes. No Bugatti. Imagine though, like, the king has, like, a Bugatti and everybody else has to travel with, like, carts. That would be great. Imagine. Bugatti. Okay, I lost my spot. Oh, okay, so she was just talking about... So this world has 3 moons. Silver, emerald, and crimson moon. I wonder if they are, like, just named that, or if they're, like, actually those colors. So, like, it's a silver moon, a green moon, and a red moon. That would be pretty cool. I want to see the moons. Malora lowered her arm and continued to gaze at her brother's back. It's the first time all 3 has been together. It's the first time all 3 have been together since we left. You know, Eris looked away from the sky toward her daughter, that if all 3 moons are full, it's a sign of good fortune. Really? You were born on a night like that. Malora met her mother's gaze. That's why we named you after Maloras, because you're our good fortune. I remember that night, Ferrith added. My stomach was in knots. Malora flipped her head to look at her father. Why? Being a parent isn't something you're taught, and I was afraid I wouldn't be good. And I was afraid I wouldn't be a good one. You are a good one, Malora whispered, a smile tugging at her lips. The best. Aw, that's so cute. Ferrith's white mustache lifted as he smiled back. I'm glad you think so. With a furrowed brow, she looked back at her mother. Wait, so if you named me Malora based on the moons, then does that mean you changed my name at the last minute? What did you plan to name me before? Mood. I feel like we've all wondered that, like, oh, what did you plan to name me versus, like, what my name actually was? Has anybody else asked that before? I have. And I'll let it be known I was always just Rita. Well, if you'd been a boy, you were going to be named... Or no, well, if you were a boy... Wait, oh my god. Well, if you'd been a boy, we were going to name you Deegan. Malora's eyebrows shot up. Really? What... Her brother's named Deegan, so I feel like that shouldn't have been a surprise. What? Eris nodded. But if you were a girl, the name we had picked out was... She glanced at Ferrith. Do you remember? Nicaea, I think. What kind of name is Nicaea? A nice Lafumite one, Ferrith replied. Your father chose that one. It means gentle rain. Gentle rain, Malora muttered. I liked it, Eris said. But I'm glad we chose Malora. It suits you. Agreed, Ferrith chuckled. A moment of silence befell them, and Malora's eyes slowly grew heavier. Stew, Eris whispered. Stew. If I were to open a food stall, I think I'd make stew. Chicken stew, rabbit stew, beef stew, mushroom stew. Malora bit her cheek, her eyes narrowing. I think I'd make pie, she said, shifting her gaze to her mother. Not chicken pot pie, just regular pie. That sounds perfect. Malora looked back at the moons, her amber eyes tracing their shape against the night sky, when she felt a wetness on her chest. Please tell me he didn't pee. She looked down only to find her brother drooling on her shirt. A relieved sigh escaped her, and her body eased. With her father beginning to snore, Malora willingly closed her eyes. Her heart was full, and her mind was at ease. For the first time in a while, she felt truly fortunate. In no time at all, she was fast asleep. Sweet dreams, Malora! That's a mood, though. Oh my gosh. Before I even read that next line, she was like, she felt wetness on her. I'm like, oh no, I hope the baby didn't pee on her. Thank goodness Deegan didn't, and it was just a little bit of baby drool. Baby drool over pee any day. Aw. I hope that they get into the city with, like, not too much struggle. We have, like, a time skip over the night, but there's still a little bit more of the chapter, so I wonder what's gonna happen. Let's see. I'm gonna drink some water first. Okay, here we go. Malora. Ferreth's deep voice pierced through her dreams. Malora, wake up! Malora's eyes fluttered open, the world still blurry as she struggled to awake fully. Malora, her father shook her gently. It's almost time. She blinked, rubbing her She blinked. I can't. I am like tripping over my tongue today. Okay. Okie dokie. She blinked, rubbing her tired eyes. What? Get up, he repeated, rising to his feet and packing up the wagon. With a soft groan, Malora pushed herself to her feet. The clearing was bathed in the blue light of dawn, the area buzzing quietly as the other travelers stirred from sleep. Quickly helping her father pack up, she noticed her mother already seated in the front of the cart. Eris extended a hand, helping her into the middle seat. Oh my gosh, she's sandwiched between the parents. Safety, though. Safety in the middle. With everything set, Ferreth sat himself beside Malora. Taking the reins in his large hands, he guided the cart through the commotion, stopping in the center, facing the gates. Malora watched as the other travelers went through the same motions as her family. In no time at all, everyone was awake. Their collected excitement filled the air with anticipation. Malora's heart raced, her palms growing damp as the seconds ticked by. How much longer until they open the gate? Malora asked, looking around at others waiting patiently. Any minute now, Ferreth replied, a smile tugging at his lips. Moments later, the chatter around them fell, silent as the first bell rang out. Ding! Malora's amber eyes locked onto the massive gates as the sound echoed in the distance. Ding! The travelers around them seemed to tense in unison, readying themselves for the moment they had all been waiting for. Ding! The air between the bells felt thick with silence, as though even the birds had stopped singing. Ding! With the final chime, a low rumble vibrated through the ground as the gates began to creak open. The sound resonated through Melora's shaking... Wait, the sound resonated through Malora, shaking her bones. In seconds, the massive door fully opened, revealing the city beyond. Melora's breath caught in her throat as she stared at the path before her, leading not just to her new home, but to her new life, her future. And that's the end of chapter 3. Wow! Okay, so that's so exciting. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the next chapter, we're gonna actually get to see like the inside of the city. So she finally made it after weeks on the road. I think it was like 2 weeks on the road. I know. Thank you. Yes, please. I'll take a round of applause. Yes, clap for me because this was a struggle. I feel like some days it's easier to read and then like others it's harder, and today was just like one of those days where it was just like really hard to like keep the words straight. Like sometimes the letters would like look like different words and I needed to slow down a bit, but I was like still reading fast, so I would trip. I don't know. That's why we're doing this though. We're practicing. It's called Rita Book. We're reading a book together, and I'm trying to get better at not sounding so robotic and struggling with dyslexia. Ah, hi Lolo. Hi. You love Rita Book. I'm so glad. I feel like my spirits are really enjoying this book. I hope you guys are enjoying this book so far, but I feel like you're definitely enjoying the series so far, which is great because we still have 2 additional books after this one as well, but I'm very excited to see how this is gonna go. You're just here to lurk. We were with your family, but saw I was online. Oh, thank you so much, Lolo. I appreciate it. You actually got here just in time. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. You got here just in time because we're actually wrapping it up because we're finished with our chapter. But I'm glad you made it in time. Also, I don't think I said thank you, but Bakugo, thank you so much for the follow. I'm glad you're enjoying your time here so far. Yatta ne. Anyway, that ends the stream for today. We finished chapter 3, so I'll see you guys all next week at the same time, 6 p.m. excuse me, 6 p.m. CST for chapter number 4. I'm very excited. Anyway, goodbye everybody. Awkward transition, go! Brrring. I hope you guys have a good night's sleep. Good night, everybody. Or good morning, or a good day. I'll see you guys next time. Next time, maybe we'll play some Enfield. No. Wait, what is it called? Arknights, not Enfield. Wait, is it Enfield? What's Enfield? Hold on. I said I was leaving, but now I'm confused. Enfield. It is Enfield. Arknights, Enfield. They're both the same. It's Arknights. We're gonna play Arknights next time, so I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye. Bye bye bye. Bye 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 bye.